Okay, so we just want to take the hakama, lay it down with the back facing upwards to begin. Okay. Okay, so this is the bottom of the hakama and this is the top. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have these two sections of himo. Okay, so this section on the back plate and this front section, we want to have them in line with each other. Okay, before you start, you can also put this plastic little doodad to the side. Okay, that'll come in handy later. Okay, so once you have that positioned, you want to grab the back plate, just hold that steady, and get the diagonal kind of open section, just flatten it so it's nice and straight. Okay, get the end furthest away from that and kind of just pull that down and straight. All you want to do really is flatten these. Okay, don't try to overfold them. Don't try to get them perfectly center, this sort of thing. Don't worry about any of that. You want to get the outer seams of the hakama, left and right, to sit nice and flat, okay? And you want these diagonal sections to sit nice and flat. From there, open up what would be the right hand side as you're looking at it. So just pull the inside pleat out. And that will give you some space to work with the left hand side plate, which you can now straighten up slightly so that you can flatten this side, the left hand side of the hakama. Okay. Just use a kind of wiping action. And this will get rid of any bits of debris or dirt that are on the hakama. Bring the right hand side one back down and do the same. So we're just aiming to flatten it and wipe off dirt and debris. We're not looking to change the shape. There should be a very, very slight overlap of the fabric here. It's on my hakama, this will vary depending on the size of the hakama, but maybe an inch at most. No more than an inch, okay? If you try too hard to straighten the central seam, when you go to fold it earlier, it'll pull apart, okay? Okay, next thing you want to do, once that's flattened out, gather up your himo, and you're going to grab the back plate and the himo all together in one hand, as well as the front of the hakama, and you can do that by just trapping your thumb, okay? Once you have it all together, okay, you're going to flip the hakama over, okay? So the way we do that is you're going to trap with this set of fingers, you're going to trap the bottom, okay? So you can do it with the other hand. I'm just doing this for the purpose of the camera. Do it like this, okay? But really what I'm going to be doing is bringing this hand to that end, just flipping the hakama over. So slide it this way, okay, and just flip it. And the point of that is to make sure that the bottom of the hakama does not splay apart during the flip, okay? Okay, so I've gone ahead and reorientated this just so it's easier for you to see. Okay, because the important stuff doesn't happen so much at the top of the hakama, so this is now the top and this is now the bottom because I flipped it around for the purposes of it being easy, okay? So most of what you're going to be doing is towards the bottom and the middle sections. Don't worry about the top. so long as the two sets of hemo are still in line with each other. That's the most important thing, and the back hasn't been disturbed when you flipped it over. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work our way from the inside out. Okay, so we're going to take, well, we'll start from the outside in terms of opening the pleat just slightly, just so we can see what we're doing. But we're going to start working the hakama from the inside out. Okay, so that's your pleats open. So the first thing you'll notice is that at the top in the center, on the side where you only have two pleats, the fabric will probably be a bit bunched up. So you want to kind of push that in a little bit, just gently with your fingers, and just start to flatten. Okay. Then you want to bring the left hand side where there's only two pleats, you want to bring the first of those two pleats in and run your fingers down the side so that you know that the fabric is flat on the pleat, the inner pleat itself. Okay. Now try not to again try to avoid over folding of this. You're not really trying to look to bring them all inwards very much, okay? Only very, very subtly. Okay, then we'll take the outer pleat and we'll do the same. Run our fingers along the edge just to make sure the inner pleat is straight. Okay, and just run your hand down that to flatten it and clean it. Okay. Repeat the process for the other side. Okay, so bring it in just slightly. Okay. Do the next one. All while we're just flattening the fabric and just straightening it out a little. Okay. So this is the inside of the last one. Okay. So now you'll find that this one may be bunched up. Okay, so you can just straighten up the innermost one a little and repeat that again, and now when you go to flatten it, it should flatten out a little bit better. Okay, so you've got to remember that it's a cumulative thing. Okay, so if one of them is kind of out of shape, it's going to affect the next one more and the next one more than that. Okay, so it's about small incremental adjustments. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting ready for the last part, well, the sort of second to last part really, but the main kind of folding to get it into a rectangle. So just so you can see what it looks like at this stage. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take the left hand side. We're going to fold the outer seam in so that this forms a straight edge. Okay, don't bring it all the way into the middle, that will pull the back of the hakama open. So just enough so that the outer edge is straight. Okay, and that's in relation to where the diagonal cuts leave the hemo at the top. Okay. So again, that looks something like so. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Okay, so now from the bottom of the hakama up, we want to fold it roughly in 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, make sure you control the middle of the hakama when you grab it. Place a hand to fold over and bring it over. Gently flatten it and brush off any debris that you see as you go. Okay. And again. Okay, and what you should have is a nice clean seam going up the middle. Okay, if it's kind of splayed out, then you've gone wrong a step earlier. Okay, and once we've got all the way to the top, you can flip the entire bundle over. So you grab it with your fingers all the way under, grab everything that you can feel. You should be able to feel the back plate. Okay, and you're going to flip that over so that you've got the hemo. Okay, and you want to bring, so set it back down the way it was, with the back plate on the back, but make sure that you have all these hemo pulled out the sides. Okay, it should be coming in that horizontal direction. Okay, so now we're going to tie the final kind of knots in the hakama, and the purpose of these is just to keep these hemo flat. Okay, because generally they collect a bit of salt and sweat, and if they're not stored flat, the salt collects in kind of, you know, like veins in the fabric, which stiffen over time and end up fraying. So if you want your hakama to last as long as possible, you need to obviously launder it from time to time with hand washing. It can only be hand washed in sort of 30-degree water with just about a teaspoon really of detergent. But you maybe only need to do that a couple of times a year, or if it's very badly soiled. It's going to take a good couple of days to dry properly. So you want to keep it in good condition between training sessions so that you don't have to launder it all the time. Okay. As with everything in Kendo, we're going to start with the left side first. Okay, so what we want is the left side longest hemo. So we're going to bring that down and across and flatten it in a diagonal line towards the right hand side corner. Okay, so fold that back on itself. Okay. Fold it back on itself again, and then one more time. And now if we've got an uneven distribution here, we just want to adjust these. Okay, so we'll shorten the first one, shorten the second one by maybe 1 inch. Okay, and now you can see that this is, it's still not the same length, so we just keep adjusting those from the bottom up until we can make a nice equal distribution of hemo. Okay, something like that. Okay, go ahead and repeat the process for the right hand side. So it comes from upper right or middle right down to the lower left corner. Fold it back on itself. Fold it back on itself again. And one more time. Okay. And then make adjustments so that the final one is the same length. And it all sits nice and neatly and tightly. Okay, so now you should have a nice X formed out of those two. Okay, next you want to bring down the shorter of the T-hemo from the left hand side. Okay, and you're going to bring it this way, and then we're going to tuck it under and bring it up the back in the center. Okay, like so. I'm going to feed it under. Okay, so it looks like that. Do the same on the right hand side. Okay, so that looks like that at the moment. Okay, next step, bring the left one across to the outside, and we're going to fold it underneath both these sets that are coming in from the outside. Do the same on the right hand side. So this time we're going in this direction. Okay, left to center out towards the right. And we're going underneath both sets that are coming in from the outside edge. Okay. Okay, so at this point you should have something like this. Okay, the two ends. Okay, so now for the left hand side, you want to bring that across from left to right, and we're going to tuck it underneath this set over here. Okay. Okay, so just the top one. Bring it underneath. Okay, do the same for the right hand side. Come on underneath this lower loop here. Okay. So now you've got something like this. So you want to just tidy up the loose ends, which are a bit too long. Just fold them in under themselves so that it's all the same length as the layer that's beneath it. Okay. Do the same on this side. Okay, flatten it all out. And this is the final product. Okay. The purpose of this is to keep the hakama together. So when you pick it up, the back of the hakama doesn't flick out. Yeah, this is as low as it will go because it's tied to the other side. Okay, so when it's in your bag, it stays neat and tidy. The other thing about this as well is it keeps the pleats in. That's the main purpose. Okay, keep the pleats nice and tidy. Okay, so let's talk about the Keiko Gi. We're going to aim to fold it into the same size, roughly the same size, not exactly the same size, but roughly the same size rectangle. So lay your Keiko Gi down on the table on a flat surface. Okay, straighten out the shoulders a bit. And again, just bring the outer seams so that they're kind of straight. Okay, so we'll start, bring this over, and we'll focus on the left hand side first. Okay. Okay, so that's the left hand side outer seam. Okay. Okay. Show you what that looks like from the top. Okay, so what we want to do is open up the right hand side, bring the left hand side in until it's flat, okay, and the outer seam is in a straight line. Okay, do the same for the right hand side coming over. So okay. The next step is to fold the arms in. Okay. So we're going to take the left hand, just move the right hand side out of the way so you can see. Okay. We're going to take the left hand side, we're going to fold the arm into the center, and we're going to bring this outside edge in probably about 5 centimeters to maybe a little less, maybe as little as 4 or 5 centimeters will do it. Okay, so it should be something like this. Okay, all the while keeping everything just nice and flat. Okay, it's worth also straightening the little hemo. Okay, try not to fold them into a bundle. Yeah, so just lay them out kind of straight, loop them on themselves in a straight line, something like that, just to keep them tidy. Okay, so back to the sleeve. So we folded it in, folded the sides in. Okay, so all we want to do is take the end of the sleeve, bring that back towards the outside. Okay, fold it until this fold is in line with the outside of the collar, and then take the excess and fold that back in on itself until this outer edge is lined up with the outer seam. Okay, should be something like this. Okay, go ahead and repeat that for the right hand side. In, fold that out so it's in line with the collar, fold the excess back in until it's in line with the seam. Okay, so now you're looking something like this. Okay, and now we're going to fold it into a neat little rectangle around about the same size as what we had with the Hakama. Okay. Just tidying up the hemo so they don't get twisted when I do this. Okay, so bring this one up in thirds this time, so we're going to fold it here. And we're going to fold it just below the shoulders. So about there. Okay. This gi is a machine washable gi, synthetic gi. So it's very, very thin and light. The heavier cotton ones, they're probably a little bit easier to fold, I would say. But you have to wash them by hand, 30 degrees, no more than a teaspoon of detergent. Yeah, if you machine wash them, the color is going to go completely whoopsie. Okay, so bring this last fold, last third up. Okay. So what you're left with, something like that. Okay, so when you put your Hakama on top, put it the other way, like that, it should all be in a nice neat little bundle. Okay, and that's it, job done, all finished, you can pack it away.